One of the most common conversations I have with clients starts with a simple question. How do we know when it's actually time to move? I'm Allie Hudler with Compass Real Estate, and I am so excited to talk to you about one of my favorite topics. It's something that I've started naturally calling map your move because not everybody just wakes up in the morning and says, I think we should sell our house. Let's get out of here. It starts with a feeling, usually a long time before that. Maybe the house just isn't quite right. Maybe we need more space. Whatever it is, the house just isn't quite matching their lifestyle anymore. I just want to talk about how to recognize these signs of knowing whether or not you should actually get started and think about making a move. And these conversations are going back to something that I call Map Your Move, which is really about helping homeowners think strategically about their next chapter. We never want anyone to feel rushed. We want to make sure that you feel confident and ready for your next move. This question comes up a lot more often than people actually realize, and it usually comes down to, again, lifestyle. People used to live in their home for 7 to 15 years or so, but that number is actually coming down. People have been moving a lot more frequently than they did in the past. And again, there's so many reasons why that happens. Maybe it's a job change. Maybe you have kids and you didn't before and you're outgrowing the space. Maybe it's a marriage or a divorce. Things happen. Life happens. Work, situations changing. Maybe you were in the office and then you started working from home and now you're like, but I'm back in the office. I don't need this extra space here. Or, hey, maybe we need to be closer to the office. So again, lifestyle and priorities change. And what was a great home, 3, 5, 10 years ago, just maybe isn't what's perfect for you right now. But keep in mind, this is a very normal feeling and people often ignore that. So usually we like to have these conversations when you're starting to explore your options. So here are 5 signs as to why your home may no longer fit your life. The first reason that your home may no longer fit your life is that your lifestyle may have changed. And I've been there a couple times, I would say. We lived in the city, but our, work was taking us out to the county. My husband and I were trying to figure out where's a good place to live so our commute is easier for both of us, right? Somewhere kind of right in the middle of our locations. So we actually moved to the county. I'm from Baltimore City, and we realized very quickly that, at that point we were younger, we didn't have kids. We kept coming back to the city because all of our activities and our friends were there. I actually, took a different job back in Baltimore to sell new construction homes. So that house in the county, we're like, why are we here? We want to be back in the city. And so we were only in that home for about 1.5 years before we started to rent that out, and we went back and bought in the city. Now, flash forward, we bought that next house. We lived there. We had a couple kids in the house. Neither of us worked from home when we bought it originally. So now here we are working from home, 2 kids, feeling, oh my gosh, this is a little tight, but we love the city. We love this neighborhood. We don't want to leave. So let's just get a bigger house, still within our same neighborhood. Flash forward again. My husband's like, I'm sick of living in this box. We need a yard for the kids. There's so many different reasons that houses just kind of stopped working for you at the time. And so we had to think, okay, I guess our lifestyle is a little bit different. Maybe we'd be okay to get back to the county, and maybe we want to be closer to family. So we decided to move yet again. Call me crazy. I get it. I'm a realtor and I love houses, so I'll move anytime, but hopefully we'll stay put for a while. But I have clients going through, very similar thought processes of just, we love this home. We love our neighbors, but something just isn't quite working anymore. On the flip side, you've got empty nesters. Maybe they had this big house with the kids and the yard and the pool, and now they're thinking, we don't need this anymore. We want to be in the city. We want to be somewhere where we can walk around, go to parks, be by the water, go to restaurants. And so people move for, again, that lifestyle change as well. And the last thing I touched on too, maybe you were working from home and now you're back in the office, or vice versa. Sometimes we just need to move for our work. And again, it's not always that the houses change, but just the way that we live in the house can be a little bit different. The second reason that people start to think about moving is maybe they're thinking about renovating their house. Hey, we love the home. Again, we love our neighbors. We don't want to leave, but if only our house had this. Maybe it's an updated kitchen. Maybe it's another full bathroom or parking, you name it. Sometimes it just becomes a little overwhelming to try to manage that process and the budget, right, of renovating a home. You're possibly still living in a home while you have construction workers coming through, and maybe it's really expensive to do all of that. And you have to think, okay, do I want to invest in renovating and staying here, kind of like a love it or list it situation? Or should we go find a house that maybe just has all the great features that we're looking for and save ourselves the headache of doing a renovation in a home we already live in? Reason number Number three is maybe your priorities have shifted as far as location goes. Do you want more walkability, or are you in the city and you're like, I can't stand to see people. I just want to be out in the county. I want to go where I have land and I don't have to see or talk to my neighbors. That's totally fine too. Everybody's feelings change, and sometimes it's not always expected. Life just happens, and sometimes as we get older, things just feel a little bit different. And we want something new, maybe something more exciting, maybe a little bit more peace and quiet as well, and that's okay. Maybe you have kids now that are going to schools and you need to think about being in a different school district or just wanting to be closer to family. That was important to us, and that's why we made a move. So again, I know how it feels if you're starting to question things, but again, it might not be the house. It could just be the lifestyle around your house. The fourth reason why people are often thinking about making a move is maybe your equity position has changed. And especially over, the last several years through COVID, we saw home prices just skyrocket. And a lot of people who bought, especially before COVID, have really seen the value of their home go up, which means that they have a pretty good chunk of in equity. So you could either take that money that you built over time, maybe you don't want to sell your house, maybe you want to use that for a home equity line of credit. You could put that down on home renovations. You could put that down on a down payment for your next house, whatever it is. Or if you want to sell that home, you could take the proceeds from the sale and maybe put a large down payment on your next house to help keep your monthly payment lower. Maybe you want to start a business and you're like, hey, let's sell this house, get something different with a lower payment, and then we could use this money to try something new and take a little bit of a risk on, your personal or your career side of things. I talk with people all the time where they don't realize how much equity they actually have built up in their home, and that equity can just open doors to a whole new opportunity that maybe you weren't expecting. I have clients who retired, so to speak, and moved down to Mexico. They bought a house down there. They're just like living the dream, being by the water all the time in a beautiful climate. Other clients sold their place and moved to Charleston. You can kind of work from home a little bit. They were just able to change their lifestyle and use the cash that they had built up in that home to put that towards their next house. And the last reason people think about moving is maybe you just catch yourself daydreaming. I'm guilty of it too. I have a, next house kind of wish list. So maybe you're browsing Zillow listings occasionally and just dreaming about like a different lifestyle, a different home. We love our house here, but in my next home, I would love maybe 2 dishwashers or a big, beautiful sliding door window that can open up to a gorgeous backyard. You name it. There's just so many other things that people get excited about in their home. So I always say curiosity is just the beginning of the next step in your life. So think about that. If it keeps, kind of pinging you, maybe it's a sign that it's a time for something different. One of the biggest mistakes that homeowners make though is possibly jumping too soon, right? I'm guilty of it. I get very excited. Oh, we want to move. Let's go. But in reality, if you can think about things ahead of time and plan out what you want to do, where you want to be, I promise you it will make your transition so much easier. So we never want people to have to jump immediately and feel rushed. So if you're thinking about making a move, I would say let's start that conversation long before you actually need to make a decision, especially if you're considering selling versus buying. There are a lot of different things that go into how to make that a smooth transition. The first thing is, are you able to financially, according to a lender, buy the next house before you sell the one that you currently own? It has to do with your debt to income ratio there. So if you can hold this current mortgage and also put money down, close on the next home, and have that second mortgage at the same time, that can give you more flexibility. I have clients right now, they are like, okay, you know what? We can hold on to this house, live here while we do it, buy the next one, and we're going to tell whoever buys our home, hey, we need, a 30 to 60 day settlement time frame, but we might also want what we call a post-settlement occupancy, or often you'll hear rent back, but we want to essentially give that homeowner time to sell their current home, get the equity from that, and then purchase the next one. So you can do it or if you need to buy that next home first, which you can do, you can put down a little bit of money, maybe it's just 5% to start. And then once you sell your current home, you can actually recast your mortgage, potentially, you have to check with the lender, where you can take the proceeds from the sale and then put more money down. So it's not truly a refinance, but it's recasting your amortization schedule and how your principal and interest are panning out through the course of your loan. So you still have the same loan term, maybe it's 30 years or so, but it gives you the ability to get that home that you want first and then worry about selling your next one. But on the flip side, sometimes people need to buy or sell their home first and then buy, and we can work with you through that too. But understanding that, especially chatting with a lender and seeing how you can qualify, is really the most important first step before we can help you map out the rest of your move. Because if you have to sell before you buy, that is a very different strategy in how we make your offers and how we time things than if you can buy first and then sell. A lot of other people will decide, hey, I don't want to sell my home at all. I just want to rent it. So if you can qualify to have both mortgages and maybe offset the first mortgage with a rent income with a lease, then you can do that as well. But again, everybody is different. And I think the people who have the smoothest transitions are the ones that take their time to really think through things strategically. And that's where we come into play. We want to make sure we can sit down with you, understand your needs and priorities, what's most important, and help you map all of that out. So these conversations are exactly why I mentioned I'm sharing something with homeowners called Map Your Move. So again, it's a way for us to strategically help you understand, what your next chapter looks like and help you understand, should we, renovate our home? Should we move? Should we sell? Should we rent? All these questions that go into that will help you understand how to get to your next place. And so there's so much that goes into it, and everybody does have a different situation. So I could talk about this for a long time, but I would say if you have questions and you're starting to think, could this be me? Are we not sure if, our current home's the right place to be anymore? Or maybe we're thinking of something different. Maybe, a job's taking us across the country or in some cases out of the country. We've helped clients relocate, whether it's in the state, in the same neighborhood, or truly out of the country. So, and we've also helped people come in that way as well. Our team is here. We're licensed in Maryland, Delaware, and Pennsylvania, so we can help you in that geographic area. But what I love about, especially Compass, the real estate brokerage we're with, is that we have agents across the country who we have gotten to know and trust. And so I tell anybody, no matter where you live, where you're moving to or moving from, we probably know somebody nearby. Or if I don't personally know, one of my realtor friends does know. So we can always connect you with a trusted agent in your area. I'm here in Delaware now, so I'm in the northern Newcastle County, part of Delaware. I do serve clients at the beaches, and that's always very fun for me to go down there too. But I'm here. I help clients in Pennsylvania. We help clients in Maryland, and our team is just so wonderful. Thank you to my team. Shout out to them. Our team just really operates as such a well-oiled machine. And so everybody has a piece that will play a part in serving our clients to make sure that they have the smoothest transition possible. We get excited for you. We are here for you. And we just want it to be easy, fun, but we are here. We are serious, and we want to take your move as serious as possible. And I always tell people, this is not about us. This is your home. This is your family. And we are here to support you and be your advocate and advisor every step of the way. Again, if you're thinking, hey, maybe I need to just talk to somebody about what that might look like. Could we move? Should we move? When? Where? I've been there. I answered all those questions, and I would love to help you work through that as well. So again, if you want to work through things, understand your equity, your timing, and what that strategy might look like, let's talk about it. And I would say here are some of the questions that you should probably ask yourself if you're feeling like you're in that stage. If we moved, what would that next chapter actually look like? Where do you see yourselves in the next, 5 to 10 years from now? Are you still in the same neighborhood? Have you moved somewhere else? Are you in Mexico like my clients are? That would be nice, right? Would renovating truly make a difference and help you stay in the current home? Or what opportunities might exist in today's market? So for instance, we're here in the spring of 2026, and things were a little quiet at the end of last year. Not a lot was going on, and it was kind of weird for buyers and sellers. But now that we're back into the spring, I can see a big difference in activity. Homes are, sitting a little less than they were previously. We're starting to see more offers, more competition. So for sellers, that could be a really great opportunity to capitalize on potentially getting multiple offers, a bidding war to drive your price up. On the buyer side, there are still homes that are sitting a little bit longer. I just got a client under contract because a house was overpriced to start. Great, beautiful house in Roland Park. And she was thinking, hey, I love this. That price is a little too much for me right now. I feel like I need to get it here. And sure enough, we made the offer. The sellers came down close to $50,000, which was not expected, but you can still find those deals wherever you are. But I think for buyers too, getting into a home where the prices are today generally is going to be better than trying to wait in time for interest rates to come down. Because a lot of times people think, oh, my house will be cheaper when the rates come down. I can afford more home. Well, by that time, interest rates come down, demand goes up because now more people can afford those houses. So it actually creates a higher price for you and a larger cost over the life of your loan. Whereas if you could take your purchase price now, if you can get in a home now, and maybe you're at a slightly higher interest rate, but when rates come down, which hopefully they do, the great thing is that you could possibly be able to refinance and get into a lower interest rate while keeping your price at before it kind of shoots up with the rest of the the market. So sometimes waiting for rates to come down is not always the case. And I tell buyers all the time, if you're ready and you have a need in your life, you like move, right? Like you shouldn't always have this be like a financial decision, which obviously it is. But if something is really pulling at you, or it's, your family, you need to move for whatever reason, work, you need to move. And people are moving all the time. And that's okay to do. And we are always here to help you, guide you through that to make it the best possible experience. So if you couldn't tell, I just love helping my clients work through these situations and helping them just really understand their decisions thoughtfully and strategically so we can help them feel confident and just not rush into a decision. So if you're thinking, hey, I want to plan a move in 5 months from now or 5 years from now, starting that conversation early to gain clarity, I think is the most important thing you can do, because once you're clear, the rest of the process will be so much smoother. And I think a lot of people, get into this sort of limbo of, oh gosh, should I buy, should I not? That not having a decision, I think, is the hardest part. And so once you can say, okay, yes, we're moving. This is where we want to go. This is how we need to do it. This is how we qualify. It makes it so much smoother and a little bit less stressful. So again, if you're thinking about this, I'm always happy to have a conversation. I'm Allie Hudler with the Hudler Homes team of Compass Real Estate, and I look forward to helping you maybe map your move too. So thanks. See you soon.